It's finally happening, Zara. Like, it's finally happening. She is finally getting the recognition that she deserves. She is getting the kind of attention that most artists literally go their entire careers begging for and dreaming of. And she's just, it seems like out of nowhere, she just blew up and she's just part of the general conversation. My one question at this point now, though, is like whether she's able to actually sustain that and become kind of like a mainstream pop girl, like in the traditional sense, or if she just becomes like the artist of the month. And then in a couple of months, we don't even talk about her anymore. We just kind of forget about it. I don't want to name any names, but it is not uncommon for us to have an artist who seems to pop out of nowhere, all of a sudden has this big, huge, massive, like cultural moment where everyone's talking about them. And then fast forward a couple of months and it's like, wait, who? Oh yeah, she did the thing, or he did that one thing that one time. And it's just like, oh, damn. She has had multiple like kind of semi-breakout moments. Like I'm thinking Lush Life, which has, you know, the dance that I don't know, but I should know. Never Forget You, which is a song that I personally have a deep relationship with, but I'll talk about that later. And also Symphony, I Just Want to Be Part of Your Symphony. It seems like she has so many hits, but for whatever reason, it just never actually happened for her. And she never became part of, you know, the main pop girl conversation in the US. I think she was up for Best New Artist, the Grammys. And whenever that happens, I'm always just like, she's not a new artist. Like, she's an artist who should have happened already. So in this video, I want to go over a couple of things. First of all, I want to talk about why Zara Larsson has not crossed over, even though she's been making music for like over a decade at this point. What I think is actually driving this moment for her, and what I believe that she should do, or honestly what she needs to do next, just so that this doesn't become like a 1 month conversation. And best believe, we are going to talk about the music. I will get there, I promise, because it's one of those things that's like, I'm a little nervous to talk about it, but we have to be real here if we're gonna like progress, because I want Zara, I want so much for her. She deserves so much, and she just needs the right ingredients so we can make this like, you know, a perfect gumbo of possibilities. So yeah, let's get into it. So first I want to start off with what I truly feel like is the main issue with Zara Larsson's brand as a whole, or what it always has been, is that she never lacked the talent. She just lacked the image. She lacked the brand, something for people to attach themselves to. Zara has always had like the raw materials of a pop star. But what I always felt like she lacked was like a universe, like her own world that we could like jump into and like have a good time in. She was always known as talented, professional, I would assume, pretty, and she makes like very, very good, for the most part, radio-friendly songs. She wasn't known as like a clearly defined artist with like her own worldview. It never felt like when Zara released a song, it had Zara's stamp on it. You know what I mean? Like it didn't have that like author stamp. And that's kind of why I mentioned before artists like Ava Max or BB Rexa, where it's like, both of them are undeniably talented. Like you can say whatever you want about them, but one thing that you could never say is that they can't sing. You know what I mean? But the problem is that it never feels like we're getting them, or at least like a marketable version of them that we can like really like a fiend over. You know what I mean?
Ava Max saying that she got out of the Kia asylum, meanwhile everybody's on here dragging her for owning the asylum, is so fucking funny. She genuinely thinks she's out. What is one of her songs? I'm really trying to think. All I know is like she samples a bunch of stuff. Is that her?
And honestly, there are some positives to that. Like I think before this whole moment that Zara was having, she could walk into a mall. Like she could go into like, you know, Claire's, or what did I say, Claire's? She could go into any store in the mall and like nobody would like recognize her like off the bat. She'd be like another blonde girl in Claire's. The downside of that is that if you don't have a recognizable like face and brand image to go with your music and your artistry, the flip side is that you don't really get the impact. You don't get those cultural moments because you haven't really done anything that like carves out your lane in the cultural conversation. Like Symphony, for example. Symphony was a massive song. Where's my phone? Hold on. Symphony currently has 1.8 billion streams on Spotify. And that's just on Spotify. That's not YouTube, that's not Apple Music or whatever. Like that song was massive and you heard it everywhere. It got to a point where you would only really hear it in like a Marshalls or something. But before that, it had its moment. It had its time in the spotlight. And it seemed like it just didn't go anywhere. For a while, it was like, oh yeah, Zara's that girl who was like singing really loud and really high in that one song in front of the orchestra. And it's like, no, she's so much more than that. But it goes to show that like, vocals, talent, dance ability, stage presence alone is not going to drive people to like really invest in the world you're trying to sell. Like, if you want to sell a world, then you have to sell that worldview to us. And before this era, like, I could not, again, I could name Zara songs, but I couldn't be like, oh yeah, Zara Larsson is the artist who does this. She dresses like this. She always felt like an artist where if you said her name to one of your friends, they might not know who she is unless they're gay. But if you were to be like, let's go to this music festival, Zara would be one of the headlining names. So you would check her out even though you aren't completely sure who she is. Like, that's the vibe that she's always given me. Which sucks, because I feel like she deserves so much more than that. And I believe the reason that she has always felt successful, but not central to the conversation, is that like there are so many artists who become stars because they have just like one undeniable persona. Whereas Zara, it always felt like Zara was a very talented performer who was just moving through the material that she was given. It kind of gave K-pop in some ways, no shade, but I feel like part of the reason why a lot of K-pop artists aren't able to really break through in the US is because you in the US at least, you need that, like, even if it's not your true personality or like you're a true representation of who you are as a person when the lights are off and the cameras are off or whatever, like the public still needs to at least feel like they know you as a person. And if there is a wall between the artist and the listener, it's going to be so much harder for you to break through in the US. And I do think that very cleanly goes into my next point, which is that the thing that is driving her forward now is not really her music, ironically. It's her. It's her personality. It's the fact that she has kind of become someone that you really want to be friends with. Like, I can see me and Zara going out to a bar together. Like, I can see, I can feel it. I never met her, never been close to her. I thought about going to her concert, but then I was like, I should probably save money. But like, I truly feel like if Zara were to show up at my house right now, like in this room, we would like kiki. It'd be like really cool friends. Like, that's the vibe that she gives. And so it's like, while I am also a fan of the music, I would say that I would want to get to know her outside of the music. And I feel like that's what really distinguishes like a successful artist who has like a lot of culturally like rich, impactful, relevant moments versus an artist who just releases music and, you know, visuals to go along with it. And so it's like, even though technically this last album of hers did kind of flop, and she mentioned that, and she seemed real like content about it, which I kind of loved.
And then it's like, well, okay, like I flopped, so it doesn't scare me anymore.
That first flop,
yeah.
How did it feel?
It doesn't matter as much because it feels like outside of the music, there's another layer of her that we are finally feeling like we get access to. Her current rise is being really driven by viral moments, a stronger brand identity, a genuine, like authentic online persona, a bit of nostalgia because her whole like image, it's so 90s, it's so early 2000s, very Y2K. Like she's really leaning into this nostalgia factor. And I think it helps that on top of all that, it's like once people get into your world and they go, okay, I want to go to a concert, I want to see you perform live, or even like see clips online of you performing, she's like phenomenal. It's like not only do we walk in the door and like the house looks nice, but like we go into the kitchen and like the food is good too. Like it's a perfect mixture of I feel like it's a perfect mixture of all the ingredients that she has always had, but just never found a way to present to us in the best way. Like polished but approachable. Like, it's giving Y2K adjacent, glitter pop, vacation, summer pop, but also like some Euro pop in there. Like, on one hand, she is beautiful, fly, hot, and sexy, but on the other hand, she's also like approachable, fun, technically excellent, and cunty. Yeah, all that in a bowl of cereal. Yum. A well-balanced breakfast. Her whole new brand is like bright colors, it's rhinestones and pop girl like aesthetics, but also keeping it pretty athletic, but then also like it looks very expensive, like it looks custom, well done, not just like off the rack. And then she adds on just enough internet brain to make it feel current and modern. She just kind of like, she has her own visual language now, thank God. I've noticed a trend on Twitter where like, it happens a lot with Tyla, where you'll just like, it'll be a photo of a mannequin and then a dress, and then like the comment will be something like, you know who you can see in this dress, or like, who can you see in this dress? And I feel like if we were to see a mannequin with like some bright, fun, bubbly, bedazzled dress with like airbrush spray paint or whatever, like we would immediately know, oh, that's Zara Larsson. Like I feel like she is really cementing her image, which is what she's always needed. Like for the first time, she doesn't just have songs, like she has like a silhouette. Like I will never forget, there was a post that I saw that basically said all of the most impactful, influential artists have a silhouette. Think Ariana Grande, Beyonce, think Taylor Swift. All of these artists, whether you agree with them or not, whether you like their music or not, they have a silhouette. Like you see a black silhouette with a ponytail, you know damn well that's Ariana Grande. You know what I mean? So I feel like Zara is finally carving out her own silhouette in pop culture, which is like, it's what she needed. She needed this whole time. The personality angle is really what's working to her benefit right now. She no longer feels sealed off.
Whoever the fuck is changing this fucking Wikipedia picture to this picture, stop doing it. Stop doing it.
Oh,
this fucking fuglo ass.
She feels more candid. She feels honestly a little chaotic. Did you see her comment under that one TikTok? If you don't know what happened, basically what happened is like a fan, I don't know if it was a TikTok or a tweet or whatever, but they basically posted like, you know, they went and got an abortion after Zara Larsson's concert. And Zara commented, these are her exact words, "I killed the performance, and then you killed it after the performance." I don't know. I have complicated feelings about it, but overall, I'm not necessarily mad at it because I think it's very obvious that she was not being serious. I think nowadays people are so frickin' serious about everything all the goddamn time.
Oh, the fracking?
No, not that.
Oh.
It's a little dark. It's a little twisted. It's a little crunchy, but at the same time, it's also like, in a time where it feels like everyone is trying their best to be as PG as possible, like it's refreshing to have someone who feels like they're just saying whatever's on their mind and they're just here to have a good time. Like her humor for me is fantastic. I love her humor. She's so, I want to be friends with her, girl. But unfortunately, while I'm having a great time, while I love looking at Zara, I love listening to Zara, I just have a great time with her as a whole, and I'm really glad she's having this moment. Like, getting attention is one thing, but keeping that attention is a whole nother beast altogether. Especially because like all of these things are working in her favor, but the one thing that is, it's not the most important thing, but it is a very important piece of this puzzle, is the music. We gotta talk about the music. I don't even want to talk about the music, but we gotta talk about the music. Zara, baby, the music has to catch up. Now, let's be fair here. Like I said, there have been plenty of Zara songs in the past that I have been like so down for. Love Me Land. If you haven't heard Love Me Land, please go watch that music video. First of all, Zara was dancing her ass off in that video. But second of all, like she is wailing. That girl can yell. She is a sanger with an A. Like, Jesus Christ. There are some songs in Zara's catalog that are not my personal favorite, and I know that a lot of us are having a discussion right now about like what songs of hers are good and what songs aren't. Like there's even been people who have said stuff like every Zara song that comes across their feed is awful, which I think is just unfair and kind of like rude. That's not the case, but like Pretty Ugly is a song that's like really in the conversation right now. I don't know how I feel about that song. When she first released it, I saw it like right away because that was before Zara really started having these like viral moments and like before she was on Stateside and everything. And so like when that song came out, it was like, okay. To me, it was another example of Zara like singing at the top volume, the top of her range, yelling at us. Like it felt like she was going more for the girl crush style, which I was like, all right, let's see how this ends. I have to be honest, I did not go back and listen to that song again until it was on Drag Race because they, Mia Starr and Juicy Love Dion lip synced to that song and it was like phenomenal. Like honestly, my favorite lip sync of the season so far. When it's performed in a lip sync, for whatever reason, I felt it a little more. Like I was like, all right, I kind of get the energy, but listening to the song by itself just doesn't scratch that part of me that I wish that it scratched, you know? I do think it's a similar like situation as Gnarly by Cat's Eye, where it's like the song is a little jarring and it's kind of a lot just to listen to, but like if you're in your head imagining the performance, or even better, if you're like go to her concert and see it performed live, like I'm sure the energy is just like ridiculous. And to be fair, I know me, and I know that if I was in the audience at a Zara concert, I would be up there, have you ever seen a pretty, you know, because it's just like part of the experience. But I can't say that I would then drive home and be like, I want to listen to Pretty Ugly. I just think that we are honestly at a crossroads where the public is finally paying attention to Zara, but now the music has to reward that attention. And I don't know that it's doing it currently.
Her reputational shift started with Performance, the Tate tour where people saw her live and went, oh wait, she's actually so good. And the big spike came from a feature on someone else's song, and the nostalgia bump came from a 10-year-old single. The album I reviewed is more like a backdrop for this moment rather than the engine driving it.
Her first like #1 hit was Stateside with Pink Pantheress. It has enough like flavor and like girly vibes, and it just sounds good to the ear. So I think that helped Zara in terms of pushing her up. So let's all applaud Pink Pantheress because you did that. But also shout out to MNEK who arranged, and I think he arranged it, and then Zara and her team rewrote it. But MNEK killing it as always. MNEK is incredible. If you don't know who he is, please go look him up. But I do think Zara needs more songs that aren't just good radio pop songs, but they have to feel like Zara Larsson songs. Like, I'll use Beyonce, for example, because if you didn't know, Zara Larsson is a massive Beyonce fan, so it just seems appropriate. You know a Beyonce song. Beyonce has, like, she's been made fun of it for the fact that she oftentimes uses, like, the most ridiculous sounds in her songs. But like, you know when you're listening to a Beyonce song. No one else can sing a Beyonce song like Beyonce. It's like once you hear her sing it, no one else can. Think of Mariah Carey. Once you hear Mariah Carey's, like her version, no one else can sing it better than Mariah Carey. We need a Zara Larsson song. Well, just overall, we need Zara Larsson songs to feel more like who she is as an artist rather than just a generic pop vibe. A couple of things that I think that she should do. First of all, I think she should find a way to incorporate this new like Y2K adjacent bubblegum, you know, glitter, bedazzled, airbrushed, you know, bright colors, like all of that into the music. I'm not gonna pretend like I know exactly how to do that, but Zara got money. She got access and she got people now. Like, you need to find someone who can really make sure that your music is aligned with what your visual aesthetic is right now. Because if you can do that, then I think you have us. I also think that it would be very beneficial for her if she were to involve her like online personality into the songs. That could mean like, you know, more little spoken word intros or whatever, or just like more humor and more like self-awareness in the lyrics. There are so many ways that you can incorporate your personality into the music itself, but that I feel like is the next step that she should take, and it will really help to cement her as like a main pop girl in the US. She needs strong choruses. She needs to continue on with focusing on the vocals of it all, because there's a lot of pop girls nowadays who cannot sing like Zara Larsson can. I won't name any names, but some of the biggest pop stars in the world can't really sing like that. She also has to move quickly because relevance has such a short shelf life. If you wait 6 months to a year to release any new music, like I know she's releasing the deluxe, but I think that she needs to like within a couple of months release some new solo stuff. These viral moments can only last for so long, and then it's just like, well, what is left? And if you let the moment die out, you're basically going to be starting from zero again of people like figuring out who you are and why you're here. Now, I do want to be clear. She does not need to be American, whatever that means. Like, I do not want her to like try to assimilate to the American culture. That's not what I mean. What I do mean is that she needs a team who understand how to package her for the American market without removing the aspects of her that make her distinct and unique. That's kind of what Tyla has done, and has done honestly flawlessly, if I do say so myself. You have to give people something that's familiar enough to enter through, to kind of break through that first, you know, barrier, but also distinct enough that it sets you apart and it makes you memorable. She just needs to figure out how to sound globally sharp in a way that American audiences know how to grasp onto. I'm just so excited for her because Zara Larsson truly has everything that it takes to become more than just like an internet moment. Like she truly can become a pop girl like phenomenon. I truly believe that. And she kind of has a better shot than a lot of artists that are in her position because the hard part is already done. Like people actually care about you. But unfortunately, caring is not the same thing as committing. Like I think the internet is really good at giving someone a hot moment for a couple of weeks where everyone's talking about them. I think the internet is a lot worse at giving someone like a legacy, like giving them actual longevity in their relevance. The world has finally caught up to Zara Larsson. At this point now, we just need Zara to catch up to it. And first step is the music. But you got it. I have full faith in her. Like, I truly believe that she will be the next big pop girl. She got this. If you've been watching Zara for years like I have, let me know if you think this moment is like massively overdue or if you think that she's still waiting on her espresso to finally like truly break through the market. I love you guys so much. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it and I will see you all in the next one.